Over the past 30 years, I've been asked thousands of different questions from magicians all over the world. But the one question that comes up by far and away the most is, how do you create your magic? The worldwide magic community is filled with creative, interesting, intelligent magicians who are just looking for more information about how to express themselves through their magic. Literally, how to make the magic theirs. On this DVD, I'm going to show you how. I'm going to share with you the principles, the guiding philosophies, the perspectives, the attitudes that I myself use day in and day out when creating my magic. The question is, are you ready to become the creative magician you are destined to be? Are you sure? Okay, then let's start. This DVD is not about helping you become creative. You already are creative. Instead, it's about accessing that creativity. And to do that, you have to give yourself permission. The trouble is that many of us are raised by parents who, as good a job as they may have done, did not make a point of nurturing our creative efforts. If you accept the simple fact that nobody experiences magic or sees magic in quite the way you do, then it follows that you have something unique to offer the world of magic. Admit to your own creativity, and then give yourself permission to explore it. That's not only the beginning, that's 99% of the work. If there was only one idea or principle I could share with you, it would be this one. Any effect is possible. Think that, believe that, and you are well on your way to creating an endless parade of your own magic effects. Any effect is possible. Any. Float a building. Cause someone to speak in tongues. Change a quarter into a hippopotamus. Methods are relatively easy to come by. It's thinking up the effect that takes true daring and courage. Now, of course, it's easy for me to say any effect is possible, but allow me to let you in on a little secret, a reminder really when it comes to creating magic. The effect does not really have to happen. It only has to seem to happen. So you don't have to actually float a building. You only have to seem to. By keeping in mind the seeming to, you will forever remain aware of the all-important fact that effects are experienced by people. They do not happen in isolation. Our job is to give people the ingredients, the indications of a magic effect, and then let their imaginations do the rest. Believing, understanding that any effect is possible is one of the true keys to unlocking your magic imagination. Magic and mentalism doesn't get much simpler or more dramatic than this. Pack of cards is introduced. You spread out the cards, you suggest the spectator grab any card they want to begin with, any card they want. They reach for the cards and you change your mind. You say, actually, wait a second. Why don't you grab one of the face-down cards, any one you want? They do so. And it's a totally free choice. That's the card. Let's say that's the selected playing card. All right? They put the card back into the pack wherever they want. You give the pack a shuffle, okay? And it's a legitimate shuffle. In fact, to absolutely prove it's a legitimate shuffle, you could ask the spectator to cut the cards several times if they want. At this point, you look them in the eyes and you say, think of a number. Any number between 1 and 52. Concentrate on it, think on it. They do. You reach over, you cut the pack once. You push the deck towards them. They don't even name the number. You say count down to the number you're merely thinking of. They don't even name it. So they just start dealing, okay? They just start dealing. Let's say they thought of 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Right here, one card. They name the card, and that is the card they selected. I've been keeping this baby to myself for a long time. It's not maybe quite what you think. When you saw the performance, you might have thought a crimp. They cut to the crimp, or you might have thought there's outs involved. If they mention from 1 to 12 cards, or 12 to 24, or there's a force somewhere. None of it's true, okay? Totally fair choice. Real shuffles. They cut the pack. Any number. Now, there's a million ways to present this effect, but let's look at the method, just a simple method for now. Half the cards are all different, okay? Half the cards are all 2 of diamonds. Okay, these are all 2 of diamonds. So it's essentially half a forcing pack, okay? But that's not where the method ends, okay? Because you also want to take a pin. Now, in this case, I took a safety pin, okay? A safety pin. But you can just take a sewing pin, a sewing needle, any of these kinds of things. And you're going to scrape on the back of the card in the upper left-hand corner and the bottom right-hand corner. Scrape a line of the red ink off the card. That's going to leave you with a perfect, like a break in the pattern in the upper left-hand corner and the bottom right-hand corner. You do that on all the 2 of diamonds, all right? Now, I've worked on the psychology, the handling of this for a long time. I'm really pleased with where it's at. It's very lean and totally convincing. You start with all the 2 of diamonds on the top of the deck, all right? So you begin by spreading out the bottom half of the cards. They see all these different cards. And you say, go ahead, go ahead, take one. As they reach for one, you say, actually, wait a second, I do not want to see the card, okay? So now you turn over and you give them the top half to choose from. It's a great way to convince them that they're all different, that they saw all these bottom half different. And now they can take any one of the top half and they're going to get the 2 of diamonds, okay? So it's a wonderful force this way. They get the card. The moment they're looking at the card and showing it around to people, shuffle the pack, okay? Now, if you can do a perfect pharaoh and divide the 2 of diamonds among the other cards so every other card is 2 of diamonds perfectly, fine. But I've never put time in on a perfect pharaoh, so all I do is I do a riffle shuffle, okay? I do 1 or 2 riffle shuffles. Now, what this does is it disperses the 2 of diamonds pretty thoroughly throughout the pack, all right? They put the card back in the pack. And again, now, I presented this. Well, first let me finish up this handling, and then I'll tell you the different ways I've presented it. Now, pretty much every other card is going to be their card, okay? So they can cut the pack as many times as they want. Boom, 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 boom. I have had them shuffle the deck once or twice. But the scary thing there is if someone grabs the deck and either does an overhand and notices the 2 of diamonds, okay? Or even turns the deck face up and then shuffles. You don't want that. So, boom. Now, they can deal through to the card they're thinking of. Let's see they're thinking, or the number. Let's see they're thinking of 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24. Now I can see, I'm looking for their marks, okay? And I can see that in fact there's not a marked card here, not a marked card here, but there is a marked card there. So I take the packet from them and do a double lift, all right? The other thing you may want to do is have them deal the cards into your hand. If they deal it into your hand, you're even in a better position to just double lift, all right? However, the vast majority of the time, what will happen is they'll arrive, they'll stop at a number, and a 2 of diamonds will either be on top here or on top here. Okay, that's the vast majority of the time. So you are good to go. Boom, double lift, okay? Or you just say, deal 18, turn over the next card, right? Or turn over the 18th card. Kind of a little bit of equivoque outs there. The possibilities for this are unlimited. Okay, I performed it where I wrote a number down on a piece of paper, put it aside at the beginning. Let's say the number 31. Did the entire effect from that point, showed 31, asked them to deal down to 31. There's the card they were merely thinking of, all right? You could have them think of any number between 1 and 52. You can have them think of the month or the year they were born, within limits. If they go over 52, that's not so hot. But the day of the month, obviously, I was born on the 4th, or I was born the 18th. They can deal down to it. So there's lots of different things you can do with this. It's one of these super clean, just very powerful, straightforward effects. Creativity is a kind of perspective. To view the events and the objects in the world around you as clay for your magic imagination is to see the world in a different way than a painter or a sculptor might. Whenever I want to spend a few moments creating magic, I always make a point of first, quote-unquote, putting on my magic glasses. For years, this was a conscious effort. Now it pretty much happens automatically whenever my mind isn't focused on something else. When I put on my magic glasses, I immediately see events and objects in magic terms. I see them as appearances, illusions, vanishes, each with a hidden magic potential. I think, how could I cause such and such an event to happen, but not via the usual means? Or, what could I do with that ping pong ball or candy bar that would be seen as magical? Ask yourself what to you is the essence of magic, and then practice applying those ideas to the world around you. Do that, and you are well on your way to developing your own pair of magic glasses. We tend to think of artists as different than ordinary people. They are not different. They are just like you and me. They sleep, they eat, watch TV, fight with their friends, get overtired, eat fast food. They are just like you and me. They are not more intelligent, they are not more talented, and they are not more creative. But the one thing they do that many people don't is spend time on a regular basis exploring their creativity and playing with ways of expressing themselves. So forget the whole art and artist thing. Those labels are mostly about ego and actually giving away power. Don't sit down with a pack of cards or spend time on stage with your zigzag illusion and try to, quote-unquote, make art. Instead, just explore, play, fiddle, consider, imagine. And be sure to keep notes. Do that, just that. And before you know it, your magic will become a true expression of the most important magician you will ever know. You. There are countless ways to make magic your own. You can write your own script for someone else's routine. You can substitute a sleight used in an effect for another sleight better suited to your own abilities. You can change the order of events in a popular routine, and so on. Another way to create your own effects is to simply ask yourself, what could happen? Take, for example, a pen cap. What could happen? It could float, it could vanish, it could be stretched, it could change colors. There are an infinite number of magical effects that could happen either to or with the pen cap. Forget about the methods for now. Just think of effects. That's the all-important first step to creating your own magic. Do you really know the Four of Diamonds? Think about it. Do you know what the Four of Diamonds sounds like, or any playing card, when you slip it into a card case? How about when you drop it 3 feet through the air so it lands on the floor? How about when you crumple it up? How does it look from the side? How about a coin? Looking at a coin. I mean, a coin may look like an ordinary coin here, but if I hold it like this, the question becomes, how thick is the coin? The coin could be normal thickness. It could be a full inch thick. There's so many hidden deceptive qualities inside every object we handle. We're steeped in these givens when you see someone wearing a pair of glasses or you see a cab go by. We have all these givens about dimension, about color, about smell, about weight. And these are precisely the givens, precisely the assumed properties that as magicians, it's key that we understand these givens and then we use them against reality or against the audience's idea of reality. It comes down to really knowing the hidden deceptive properties of your props. Record every single one of your ideas. Write them down, save them into a cassette recorder, videotape them, email them to yourself, something, anything. If you're even a little serious about developing your creative muscles, you must record your thoughts. Rough ideas, a list of interesting props, keywords for presentation, everything. Especially just the little fragments of this or that idea, because the vast majority of the time, it's the little fragments which are the seeds to outstanding magic effects. And don't just record the so-called good ideas. After all, who the heck are you to judge which of your ideas are good or bad? They all have potential. Ideas are like customers. The better you treat them, the more often they come back. Grab a 99-cent notebook and start carrying it around with you in your backpack, briefcase, or whatever. And whenever a thought hits you for a line of script, a way to use a slide, something, anything, just take the 30 seconds to jot the idea down. Do this on a regular basis, and you know what's going to happen? One day, not so long from now, you're going to come to the last page of that notebook and realize you have an entire book filled with magic that is truly yours. My great-grandfather, Harry Houdini. Yep, Harry Houdini, good old Grandpa Harry. Now, I can't claim to have the same faculty as he did with chains and milk bags and lamp posts and all that wacky, crazy stuff. But I'm pretty good with rope. Pretty good with rope and string, in fact. Now, here's a cluster of knots that a spectator has just tied in the string. I originally handed them about 2 foot of twine. They, one by one, tied knots in them while I was doing something else, a card effect or a coin effect or finding someone selected, marshmallow, whatever. Then I come back and I say, fine, I take that from them. I say, watch this. This I dedicate to Uncle Harry. I'm so good with knots. Just hopefully a little pull. And yep, just like that. Yep, there you go. Every single one of the knots pulled clean, untied from the full length of string. To my mind, one of the hallmarks of a professional magician is using the situation to your advantage. In this particular setting, and as I've done this often while seated at a table, I use a cleanup that requires lapping. This effect does not require lapping, however, okay? You can do it stand-up. I've done it many times stand-up and still get away with it, no problem whatsoever, okay? So keep that in mind for anybody who thinks, oh, you got to do it seated. It is nice, though, to do this kind of effect seated. There's a lot of magic out there that's for stand-up, and you know how the moment you stand up and you're going to show them a piece of magic, it takes on this theatrical, sort of almost unreal tone. I love the fact that I can be hanging with friends, and without getting up, I can do several really good pieces of magic, okay? For this, you're going to need a thumb tip, a length of about 1.5 feet, 2 feet of yellow string. Yellow is great because it's got high visibility, as long as you're not wearing a light color, high visibility. And a cluster of knots. You take an identical length of string and you tie a knot in, and another knot, and another knot, and another knot, and boom, you're ready to go. Now, there's 2 ways you can do this, of course. You can have them pre-tied in, or you can have a spectator tie the knot. I like the spectator tying the knot, but then of course you're going to have a couple minutes of downtime. So in that case you want to be able to do some other feat of magic, of course. I have done it many times where I provide it, and you might be thinking, well, how can they believe these are all real knots? Well, because what I'll do is I'll just take this out, give it to them, and say, go ahead, try to untie one of the knots, and we'll time you. And you know, it takes them typically 10, 15, they're very tightly tied, 20 seconds to undo the knot. That can only add to the drama of what you're about to do, which is undo some 20-odd knots in 1.5 seconds, okay? So that way is also a strong way to go with it. Take the twine, and starting at one end, you wrap the twine around your finger, leaving one end of it. And you tuck the one end down into the thumb tip, okay? Then loosely, so to take off the bundle off your finger, leaving the last end, the original, or the other end, sticking up out of the thumb tip, okay? This is how it is resting in my pocket, okay? My pants pocket. Whenever I want to go into this effect, put my hand in my pocket, boom, I'm ready to go into the effect, okay? That's simple. Again, they can tie this, or you can present it as pre-knotted. And now if you're going to do the lap version, I'm holding it here. Here's the thumb tip, right? And all I'm going to do is I'm going to make a fist around it and pull down. I'm going to take this in my left hand, take the thumb tip, and that's going to leave the end. That's what makes this illusion visually perfect. Leave the end between the thumb and finger, go down. And all focus is here. You pull straight down, you ditch the thumb tip and the other piece of string in your lap, and keep your eyes here, then come across, okay? So the action is down and up, and there's this sense that your hands never went below the table, okay? Boom, eyes fixated there, swing up, eye pans across. Okay, that's the pattern.